Howdy, gang, and welcome to another edition of Open the Gates, the films of Lucio Fulci. And like I said, we're mixing them up. We're not doing them in any particular order. And the two that I picked for tonight are Don't Torture a Duckling, which, by the way, if my dear husband's watching this, yes, Steve, this is your copy. In fact, both of these are your copies. And I'm also going to be talking about the New York Ripper. Hope that doesn't get me in trouble. I think she's covered up enough there that it won't get me in trouble. Okay. So, before we get started, sorry, my nose is running like a dang faucet. I wanted to do a little housekeeping, get a little housekeeping stuff out of the way. Tomorrow night, I should be doing a pre-recorded for Forgotten Fulci. And Wednesday, I'm not sure about what I'm going to do apples and oranges on, Fulci related, but never fear. I'm going to try my best to come up with something, some good topic to cover. Thursday will be another fantasy Fulci. I'm not sure what movies. I've done Stephen King adaptations. I've done Bruno Mattei films. But never fear, again, I will pick something, hopefully, that people will find interesting. That will be on Thursday. Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time will be another, I was just thinking of this. I may have to talk to Candace about that because they may be leaving out for Horror Hound earlier that day, and I didn't even think of that because I think they're going to be there. I thought they were going to be there all weekend, but I'm going to have to check with her. If she is here or, at home, we will do Friday Foolish. If not, it will more than likely be the following week. Yeah. Okay. So I will have to check with her. That totally slipped my mind. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking, and maybe they're only going on Saturday. I don't know. I'm all mixed up. You guys know I'm crazy as a bed bug. I can't keep anything straight in my mind, but I will have a more definite answer for you guys and gals once I talk to Candace. Okay. So, no watch alongs this weekend, but hopefully I will get some cool footage from Scarefest on Saturday that I can put together a video and put that out. Speaking of Scarefest, last night I did a pre-recorded pre-Scarefest breakdown. If you haven't checked that out, be sure to check it out. If you're at all interested in all things Scarefest related. And I was thinking about doing watch-alongs this weekend. However, it's a little up in the air about whether I will be able to do them this weekend or not. So that's going to be contingent on how tired I am once I get back from Scarefest on Saturday. Okay? So, just wanted to let you guys and gals know all about that. For those of you that did not see the newly printed or pressed Lethal Ladies Incorporated design, and I'm sorry I don't have my buddy Jack. I forgot to put Jack out. Jack's in the box. I kind of made a joke there. He really is in the box, but okay. So this is the newly pressed design that looks a lot brighter than the other design. Don't ask me what happened to that design, but that design is almost no more because it washed out of the shirt. I think it may have been the material of the shirt. So this turned out a lot darker and looks like how I originally wanted it to look. Okay. So you can pick up your own Lethal Ladies Incorporated shirt, which is going to be me and Candace's collective entity for conventions when we sell our stuff starting next March at Horror Hound Weekend. So if you want to, have your own Lethal Ladies Incorporated shirt, there's my dear husband. Hello, Steve. You can pick one up for $20 at deaditesondeck.com in many different colors. I now, I'm hesitant to say, but I now have the ability to do the sublimation on dark colored shirts like black and dark blue and dark green and all that. Haven't tested it out though just yet. Going to take a little bit longer before I have hats on the site. Those of you that saw my video, hey X-Ray, those of you that saw my video last night for Scarefest, I talked at the beginning about the snafu with the hats. The hats did not turn out the way I had planned. The colors weren't vibrant, and so I'm not sure what happened. But in any event, and Steve, don't get your underwear in a bunch, because I've already told Steve I'm waiting until more items get sold on my site before I invest in a dedicated hat press, because I am not taking my heat press apart again just so I can put that thing on there for those hats to turn out like that. So hats will not be on the site as soon as I had hoped, but if you feel the need and want to pick up some shirts or mouse pads or tumblers, I've got to get the mouse pads and the tumblers on the site. Or if you want to pick up some tea or you want to get some candles, I've got a new way that I'm making candles. And the scent is stronger and the colors look great because I'm using mica powder in the candles right now. So I'm not saying, buy stuff from me or there will never be hats on the site, but, I'm sure Steve does not want me to buy a dedicated hat press until I'm making some more money off other things before I add something else to the mix, right? And I don't even know if Steve's listening to me right now. He did show up, but he is at work. But he is back on his regular night shift, thank goodness. And I'm sure Steve says thank goodness as well. So you're listening. Okay. Well, I hope you heard what I said so you don't get all wound up or anything thinking I'm going to go right out and buy a new piece of equipment. But there is also the, as promised, Be kind to one another and blaze that trail. I may be able to actually show y'all that design. Hold on just one second here. For anybody that doesn't believe me, you could go to deadicesondeck.com, but let's see. Let's start shopping, and I don't think I need to show you the lethal ladies. The It Just Doesn't Matter Empowerment and Positivity on YouTube is also available as well. All right. So hold on one second, folks. I'm going to share my screen. Maybe. There we go. All right. So this is the Be Kind to One Another and Blaze That Trail design that you can pick up on a shirt for $20. I have these in small, medium, large, extra large, 2X, and 3X currently. And right now you've got your choice of, I believe, 10 colors: black, blue, green. I think that's gray, orange, pink, purple, red, white, and yellow. Okay. So also, here is a picture of the design that I have on right now. This is the Lethal Ladies Incorporated design. And here is the It Just Doesn't Matter Empowerment and Positivity on YouTube. You can also get that design as well on a shirt. You can get the Spooky Dog Horror mashups. You can get the Spooky Dog variants. You can get the Captain Howdy Burgers design, Friday Foolish, I Love Robert England, Little Stevie Torrance, a quote from Magic, Abracadabra, I sit on his knee, presto changeo, now he is me. Movie Munchies, I know I haven't done a Movie Munchies in a while. The Deliverance, Squeal Like Pigs in a Blanket. Spooky Dog Horror mashup tees. Werewolf Tea Party. And where you might see Spooky Dog Horror mashup tees more than once, I had to put multiple pages up. Official Lethal Ladies Inc. logo. It Just Doesn't Matter logo. Be kind to one another and blaze that trail. And also more Spooky Dog horror mashups. Okay? So, I'm going to stop sharing that now. But you can also, like I said, you can pick up teas, you can pick up candles, including the new Children of the Candy Corn. Thank you, Steve, for coming up with that idea for the candy corn scented candle. In fact, let me just take myself out for a second. I'll be right back. I just wanted to show y'all. This is the design that I came up with. And yet again, that little internet thing is coming up and it went away. But this is the Children of the Candy Corn. This is the label on the top and the front of the candle. Uh, you can't really see this that great. I was burning it a little earlier, and it does look sort of yellow or orangish yellow when it's cooling. But the cool thing about using the mica powder is that when you burn this, it looks like flowing orange glitter in the candle. So I'm really liking that, and I'm hoping other people like that as well. But you can pick these candles up for $20 a piece. I know people might say, well, Dana, that's a little expensive for a 8-ounce candle. Yes, folks, it may seem like that, but um, it does cost, me somewhat to put these together. I have to get the materials, and you could even ask Steve about it. But before I lose everybody, because I did have 5 people, and now it looks like a bunch of people dropped out, and I don't know whether to trust StreamYard or not, but I've talked for 17 minutes about, nothing basically. So let's get to these Lucio Fulci movies for the night. And I'll also give my ratings on them. So, like I said, we're going to talk about Don't Torture a Duckling first, which is actually classified as a giallo. And so, what year did this come out? 1972. This is an early 70s movie. It's not rated. It is a little bit longer than some Fulci movies at an hour and 45 minutes. Has Steve's lady, or one of Steve's ladies, Barbara Boucher, in this. She's another one that he goes cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for, don't you, Steve? Um, but Thomas Millian, from Four of the Apocalypse, he is also in this. So what is this movie about? You may be asking. So a southern Italian town, I should say, is rocked by a string of child murders. So this is a very sensitive subject, folks. The police and 2 urban outcasts search for the culprit amid scapegoating within the superstitious community. Okay. A little bit more about this. The sleepy rural village of Asindura is rocked by a series of murders of young boys. The superstitious locals, always a lot of superstitious locals I found in Lucio Fulci films. But they're quick to blame the local witch, Machiara, played by Florinda Bolkin, from A Lizard in a Woman's Skin, which is another, I believe that's another Fulci movie. Steve, are you drooling because I mentioned Barbara Boucher? With the bodies piling up and the community gripped by a panic and a thirst for bloody vengeance, 2 outsiders, a city journalist, Andrea, played by Thomas Millian, and spoiled rich girl Patrizia, played by Barbara Boucher from The Red Queen, kills 7 times. And let me tell you, folks, if you want to see a whole lot of Barbara Boucher and a whole lot of skin of Barbara Boucher, this movie has it, right, Steve? Hey, Tom, you say they're off to the movies. But before the mystery is solved, more blood will have been spilled, and not all of it belonging to innocents. This was deemed shocking, very shocking in 1972 for brutal violence. Its depiction of the Catholic Church, which Fulci had a long-standing beef with the Catholic Church. That is no secret. And themes of child murder and the P word. I'm going to, yeah. I don't want to say that because, like I've said, YouTube cannot discern between somebody just mentioning the word or talking about it. But um, this is basically assault on children, is what I'm talking about with the P word. Don't Torture a Duckling is widely regarded today as Fulci's greatest film. Now, me, I wouldn't say that it's Fulci's greatest film, but it's not a bad little movie. Not a bad little movie at all. Rivaling the best of his close rival, Dario Argento. Um, this is also listed as a powerful and unsettling giallo. Actually, one of the most powerful and unsettling giallo thrillers ever produced. I feel that way a lot of times, Tom. That YouTube, kind of coddles the big channels because I guess the big channels are the ones that help make YouTube money. So basically, they let you know big channels do whatever they want, and creators, the little guys and gals who are building from the ground up. Yeah, it, you're totally correct in that, Tom. Totally correct. Um, but even though Barbara Boucher is naked through a lot of this film, Steve, help me out here if you're still in here and still listening to me. Um, I can't recall if, like this is Barbara Boucher showing side boob, or is there ever full frontal in this movie? I just wanted to be, clear on everything. Um, but there's a whole lot of Barbara Boucher to be found in this, right? Um, Somebody's messaging me, I think. Okay. I'll have to check on that later. Um, but so if you like Barbara Boucher or you love Barbara Boucher, as Steve does, then you're going to get to see a whole lot of her in this. And, Barbara Boucher is a very attractive woman. And even when me and Steve met her a few years ago or several years ago at, I believe it was Cinema Wasteland, um, she was very nice. I enjoyed meeting her, very nice and kind and pleasant. Um, you know, very unlike a lot of the characters she played, right? And there's even a picture somewhere of me and Steve with Barbara Boucher. And she's not bad in this movie. She's not bad at all. I feel like Barbara Boucher, despite how much nudity she may have done, she is a very accomplished actress, and I have nothing bad to say about Barbara Boucher. Steve would probably be shocked by that, um, but the subject matter is very delicate. This movie may not be for everybody. Children getting killed, that's a really sensitive subject for a lot of people out there. And that's okay. This film may simply not be your cup of tea. But if you can stick with it, it has one of the most wild endings and deaths of the killer. I'm not going to give away who the killer is because this is a movie where if you have not seen it, I think you have to experience it in total and not know who the killer is. I think that you should be able to experience like I and others did without being told who the killer is. Okay. And you may, guess who the killer is, and you may say, well, that was obvious, but sometimes it's not really all that obvious. And I recall watching this for the first time, and I did not pick out who the killer was. right off. Tom, you say you'll watch it. You'll have to let me know what you think about it after you see it. Um, but it it does have a pretty wild reveal and then a really wild death of the killer. Um, I like Don't Torture a Duckling. I don't know why I have never invested, and Steve would probably say, you don't need to because I have. You don't need to invest in any better copies of Don't Torture a Duckling or any of the other films that Steve has either purchased a Blu-ray and or 4K of. But I'm a weirdo. There's some things that I really, really like, and I have to have my own copy of it. Now, people may think that is the craziest thing they've ever heard of, but it's just, folks, it's just how I am. But I guess I could go ahead and give my rating because, like I said, when I'm on here by myself, I don't like to just go on and on and on and on about anything on here and bore you guys and gals to tears. So, I am going to give Don't Torture a Duckling. I'm going to say between 4 and 4.5 dead eyes out of 5. I think it fully deserves that rating. And some of you may be shocked by that, including Steve. He may not have even been under the impression that I liked it that well, but I do. I really, really do like Don't Torture a Duckling, despite the sensitive subject matter and the nudity and all that stuff. Really, in all honesty, folks, the nudity from Barbara Boucher and the nudity in any of these films, and Steve's probably laughing his head off, saying, "Oh, yes, it does bother me." But as I get older, this stuff bothers me less and less. Because let me tell you something, folks. The women in these films, I'm not saying they got ugly, but they've aged. Some of them have aged well, some of them have aged not so well, okay? And we're all going to get old and we're all going to gain weight in the wrong places and stuff like that. So, why should I worry about, a 60 or 70-year-old actress or older now, just because my husband wants to watch them in an old movie they were in, right? Let him have his fun. That's what I'm trying to move on to, thinking in that respect. All right. So moving on to New York Ripper. This Steve may have a 4K of it. He may have a 4K of both of these, but I could not find them. I think both of these are his Blu-rays, maybe. And I really, I like these lenticular covers or whatever you want to call them. Then you do that for too many of them. But if you guys and gals will remember, the last apples and oranges I talked about, Fulci Gore versus Fulci Sleaze. And I said that I was more for Fulci Gore than I was for Fulci Sleaze. But there is still a certain slasher nastiness that I do enjoy with the New York Ripper. I like the New York Ripper much, 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 much more than the Devil's Honey. Like I've said before, the Devil's Honey, I don't see myself ever watching again unless Steve just has it on and it's, background noise for me. So, what is New York Ripper came out in 1982, so this was 10 years after Don't Torture a Duckling. It's not very long, in an hour and 25 minutes. It is also not rated. It's about a burned out New York police detective teaming up with a college psychoanalyst to track down a vicious serial killer randomly stalking and killing various young women around the city. Yeah, that's your basic story of New York Ripper. Um, a little more information. A blade wielding psychopath is on the loose, turning the Big Apple bright red with the blood of beautiful young women. New York Police Department Detective Fred Williams, played by Jack Hedley, For Your Eyes Only, follows the trail of butchery from the decks of the Staten Island Ferry to the sex shows of Times Square. I told you it was sleazy, right? Each brutal murder becomes a sadistic taunt. The city that never sleeps. The hunt is on for the killer that can't be stopped. This was co-written and directed by Lucio Fulci and filmed on location in the mean streets of New York City. This is one of Fulci's most savage and controversial thrillers. This version is completely uncensored and fully loaded with exclusive new extras. This is the Blue Underground Blu-ray release. Tommy say, yes, you always visualize some actors and actresses as they were long ago, not like they are today. Yeah, and I think that's the way Steve wants to preserve them, and probably the way a lot of people want to preserve their favorite guys in particular. I'm not meaning to pick on guys, but guys in particular want to preserve the women that they enjoyed watching in a variety of ways growing up. All right. So also, this has the the extra added bonus of the killer um, taunting the police by calling and talking in a duck voice. And if you don't believe me, watch the New York Ripper. Steve could tell you that it definitely has that in it. And I actually like that because that little bit of zaniness, that little bit of silliness, actually makes this seem a little less sleazy. Right? Takes some of the bite off the sleaze. But it does take place in New York City. It was filmed in New York City, um, much as Maniac was. And Maniac is sleazy too. And I've watched Maniac many, many, many times. Okay. So I'm not necessarily putting the New York Ripper down for being sleazy. Because, like I said, it is different to me than The Devil's Honey in that it has that slasher bonus. Okay. And I'm a big fan of slasher movies. Call me crazy, but I am. I've always loved slasher films. I think Steve, pure, 80s type slasher films, he's over that. He's been over that for a long time. And I don't want anybody to think that I'm just picking on Steve or just picking on the male audience, because I'm not. But Steve has lost the slasher movies. Slasher movies as a whole have lost their allure for Steve. It's like been there, done that. Me, on the other hand, I will still return to slasher films over and over and over again. And so that is the part that I really enjoy with New York Ripper. I really, really enjoy the slasher aspect and the added bonus of the killer, taunting the police and doing a quack quack. And I mean, he literally does that. The killer does that in the film. Again, I'm not going to give away the killer in this. I think New York Ripper is one that you definitely need to experience on your own and either figure out the killer as the movie unfolds or wait until the end to see the killer revealed. Tommy say New York and Times Square was just crazy in 1980s. There's a lot of old street footage on YouTube, my lord. Oh yeah, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about there, Tom. But what would I give New York Ripper? This is going to shock a lot of you, I think, because I'm not going to give it a 4.5, but I am going to give it 4 deadites out of 5. And that is almost purely for the slasher aspect of it. I think that Fulci knocked it out of the ballpark as far as the slasher aspect. And yeah, it's got a little sleaze in it, you know, but I could, not so much that I couldn't deal with it. Okay. On the other hand, Devil's Honey, and you're probably thinking, God dang it, get off the Devil's Honey train, quit, beating a dead horse with that. But, I've said this before, I'll say it again, I'll continue to say it. The Devil's Honey, in my opinion, has absolutely nothing going for it except sleaze. That's all it's got. Now, you can argue with me on it, but I'm going to stand firm on that. And if other people have different ideas about it, feel free. I don't mind, hearing other opinions on it. But as I said before, when I'm on here by myself, I don't like to, just ramble on and on and on about things. I want to get to the point, and I want to give my ratings on these movies and then hop off for the night. So I've been on here for about 37 minutes. I hope those of you that have been in here watching, and maybe not necessarily chatting, because there was 2 or 3 people chatting, and I know that I had more people on and off. But I want to thank those that were in the chat, those that were just watching, and those that will watch it on the replay. Again, I want to thank everybody for their support of my little channel, the support of my shop at deaditesondeck.com. And visit deaditesondeck.com to see what new stuff I've got up there, because there's some all new designs. There's teas, there's candles. So check out all that. Booga Booga Bears. I'm still making the Booga Booga Bears if you are interested in that. And I guess that's it for me for tonight. But I'm off like a dirty shirt, and this shirt's not dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Monday night. Thank you, Tom. And be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, so you won't miss any of my upcoming content. It's not required that you subscribe or anything, but if you like what I'm doing and you want to keep on top of it, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you can even join the channel if you wish. Again, not a requirement. I do have both a Discord and a Patreon. The Discord is free for everybody to take a gander at. In fact, let me if Dana can remember. I always have trouble remembering. If you're interested in joining the Discord, we got a bunch of different forums you can go in and talk about different things. Again, that is free. I also have a Patreon, and you can subscribe for as low as $5 a month. And you can visit that site to find out all about Patreon. Okay. So, again, I'm out of here for the night, but I'll see everybody next time.